Everyone, I hope you're doing great today. Okay, something very bizarre is going on somewhere around the world, and I have promised myself that I would never ever fail to share this with all of us. You know, I'm so used to always knowing everything that I want to share with you guys. I'm so used to having a clear picture of it, being able to connect all the dots, being sure that I have mastered everything before sharing. So when I speak with a lot of authority. I don't think I have that much of authority today because what I'm about to share with you is very bizarre, it's very creepy, it's also very interesting and in a way even scary. And the funny thing is that I can't seem to really know everything that I'm supposed to know about this. So for the first time, I'm going to present to you something that you are going to be learning with me. We are going to progressively learn this together, research it together, educate one another together as we go on. But before we proceed, before I show you any video, you know what you need to do. Look down there, subscribe to the channel, click on the notification button, and then share the video, okay? Now, let's go straight into this. It's a guy called Javier, okay? His name is spelled Javier, but pronounced Javier, you know Spanish, okay? Now, Javier is supposed to be a time traveler who came from 2027. And now he claims he lives in a parallel world. And this is confusing people a lot. The only thing I can do today is to try to help you, understand some of the terminologies so that as we study this guy together, as we learn him together, you will not be missing anything along the way, okay? First of all, what we need to do in that regard is let's find out what it means to be a time traveler or what time travel actually is all about. Here's how Wikipedia puts it. Time travel is the concept of movement between certain points in time and analogous to movement between different points in space by an object or a person, typically with the use of a hypothetical device known as a time machine. Javier claims that he came from 2027 and he is living in 2021. He's able to make connections between 2027 and 2021. But before you get to understand why he is able to make that connection, let's look at what Einstein said about the concept of time, whether time travel is possible or not. More than 100 years ago, a famous scientist named Albert Einstein came up with an idea about how time works. He called it relativity. This theory says that time and space are linked together. And what Javier is trying to pass across from the videos I'm about to show you right now is actually a confirmation of that fact that truly time and space are linked together. So now let's go to the video that he initially posted, through which he was able to tell the world his short story, the little story about him, about his life, about what happened to him when all of this began. I woke up alone in a hospital in Valencia, Spain. I couldn't remember my name or where I lived. I decided to go outside and there were no people. No people. So he was all by himself. Then the next thing he says, everything was like in 2021, but the electronic devices showed 2027. Do you understand what he's saying here? He's saying that all the things that he is seeing are exactly like 2021. The hospital he went into is still looking like the same hospital, the same paint, the same color, the same everything. The trees he saw in 2021 before he went into this, all of them are looking the same 2021. Even places where people wrote stuff on and signed 2021, those papers are still saying 2021. But the electronic devices are reading 2027. This is more like a different dimension, if you ask me. So, but let's know more about this dimension. So he goes further, he says, I discovered that there was a connection between 2021 and 2027. People in 2021 could see objects I left in the city, but people couldn't see me and I couldn't see them. When he goes to hide those things, nobody is seeing him, even though it is at a time that many people are in those locations. But he goes there and he puts something and hides it, and he gives people the exact coordinates and gives them the longitude and the latitude and say, go to this place now. You're going to find that I hit something there. And the time when he went to hide those things, the place is populated. But as they are watching him in the video hiding the stuff, they don't see any human being. They don't see any bird or animal inside. And they say, no. If this is something he's hallucinating about, how come we are looking at him hide it and we go there, we'll still find the same thing. But nobody saw when he hid it and he didn't see anybody when he went to hide it. That's exactly what he's explaining. And as we go further, you're going to understand this even much better. Okay, so now we go to the last thing he put here. He said, and a few days ago, I found a letter telling me that I am the JESP 8827 experiment. I come from 2027 and I am now in a parallel world in 2021 without people or animals. You see what I was talking to you about? He is in a parallel world. So if I will break it down in a way that you can understand it so much better, let me give you this imagery, right? Let me give you this. So this is our world now. We are living in this world, 2021 world is this circle now that I'm making. Now, duplicate this one and pull another version of it out. You pull it, you duplicate it and pull it out. This one, this version of this has nobody in it. It has no humans in it. It has no animals, no birds, no ants, nothing. Only this Javier guy is in it. And this one that you duplicated is now 2027. But the duplicate of it is 2021. That's why he said that there is a connection between 2021 and 2027, and both of them have now become a parallel world. That's why he is operating in the time of 2027, but he is dropping something in the space of 2021. So time and space are working together in Javier's world. This is unprecedented. I've never in my life come across anything like this before. You can imagine 2027 time. Everything shows 2027. But he will leave something. People who are in 2021, by every stretch of the imagination, by space and by time, they will go to where he left it and they will pick it. But he left it in 2027. And how do we know it's 2027? Because he videos himself living it and he doesn't see any human being inside. He doesn't see any animal inside. And yet, you that are living in the normal 2021 world will go to where he left the thing and you'll find it there. Parallel world.
What if you woke up one day to the terrifying reality that you were the only one left on Earth? aka Único Sobreviviente, which means lone survivor. He claims to have woken up in a hospital with no recollection of who he was. When he wakes up, he notices that there's no nurses, no doctors, nobody in the hospital at all. When he goes outside to investigate, there's no cars moving, nobody on the streets, not even a bird flying in the air. Yeah, no animals. Now he's recording all of these videos and people are asking so many questions, including myself. At first glance, when you watch these videos, they're very entertaining. You're like, oh, he must be recording them early in the morning. Maybe he did it during one of the lockdowns. He just filmed a bunch of videos and he's just releasing them now, but that's not so. The more I watched, the more I became scared. If you've ever watched movies like I Am Legend, shows like The Walking Dead, you know that there's a lot of money involved in those production sets. Millions of dollars on CGI to make it look like the world is desolate. Now Javier is only using his phone to film and uploading these videos barely edited onto TikTok. And he lives in a very big city. Now, as he starts getting his memory back, he remembers that he was in 2021. When he looks at computers, looks at his phone, everything is exactly the same as 2021, except all the dates on every electronic device is saying 2027. He realizes that there's some sort of connection between 2021 and 2027. He still has access to the internet, and he's even shown different locations, exact coordinates to where he's at, and leaving things. This is something like a parallel world, a different dimension, but a connection from 2027 where he's at and 2021.
A parallel world, a totally different dimension. They have connection. And that connection, to me, this is what I'm thinking based on what I've read about Einstein, is probably space and then time. Because he dropped stuff in the space of 2021, but he did it in the time of 2027. So it's a connection between space and time for me. I don't know what you think. If you're a professional, please go to the comment section and just drop something. I want everybody to participate in our getting to know this thing, because this phenomenon is alien to me. It's not like I've not heard anything about time travel before. I've heard it before. I've read stuff about it, but this one is on a totally different level. I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this before, and so many people are amazed. That's why the guy is covered in all the tabloids all over the world, like mainstream media. Everybody's talking about this guy, and then who am I? So we're all trying to learn this guy. So if you know something, let us know.
Now, this is where it gets interesting. There's followers of his on his TikTok videos requesting certain locations for him to go and explore and to show that there's no one there. We're not just talking about regular places. These are historic landmarks in Valencia, Spain. Churches, hospitals, even a soccer stadium. Some have argued that he's going early in the morning, but he continues to prove people wrong. In this video, Javier shows a comment on the screen, and the comment says this: all your videos are made super early in the morning at 6 a.m. or 7 a.m. when there's no one around. He then goes with this comment on the screen to a heavily populated part of the city with a clock, a public clock, and shows that the time is 5:46 p.m. I think that's military time. And I don't know about you, I mean, here in America at 5 o'clock, it's rather busy. People are just getting out of work. That's considered rush hour.
Once it's past 5 p.m., it's rush hour. How come there was nobody in sight? He went there. He saw the public clock that everybody else sees in 2021 space. The public clock is saying past 5 p.m. And yet he was there and there was nobody. The people who were in that time space in 2021 know that the place is so crowded. He's there with them, videoing himself and his presence at that same time, and yet nobody's seeing him. And so if he leaves anything there, he will tell people will go there with all the crowd there, they will go and find what he has left there from another dimension, 2027.
Okay, so this person pretty much says go inside of an airport. I understand that there's maybe some travel restrictions here and there, but I don't know. I mean, it even shows flights there and it shows the times. And I mean, this place is just completely empty. Lights flickering there. This person said they'll give him $500,000 if they do that. You know, he goes into the bathroom, completely empty. Somebody here in the comments of that video said, why don't you go into an airplane? And I think it's great. I think it's really fun looking at some of the comments. Grab a video passing through the river or passing by the river. And I mean, you could see there's no cars on the streets, nobody walking around. I mean, I don't even see birds in the sky. I mean, pay attention and see if you see any birds in the sky. I mean, I'm looking. I've been looking. You guys might be able to help me on this. I mean, I don't understand. So somebody says to go to a Mercedes dealership and grab a Mercedes. So he finds this key right here, and I guess he's looking around and see what car this key belongs to, and he finds it. It's right outside. I mean, how was he able to do this upon request? Somebody requested him to go to a Mercedes dealership, and look, he's driving the car. He's the only one on the street, and this looks like dusk. There's somebody in the comment of this video saying, I'm starting to believe that what you're going through is real now. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm believing it too. This guy is trapped in another dimension, not just in time, but you know, some sort of connected world, except there's nobody in his world but him.
This is believable, very, very believable, because imagine someone told him in real time, go to so place, and he went there on request. and he came there. These are places where they have cars in 2021. Maybe someone had just left a key and he came and took the key. These are 2021 things, and he's doing it in 2027 time. He comes and gains access into our word and uses what we have and takes care of it. It's just like the way spirits come. A spirit can come now, it's from another dimension, but then he comes into our dimension, gains access to laptop, smashes it, and then you will be wondering, what happened to my laptop? And you see lights falling down and things happening. Isn't that what happens with, I don't know, but am I lying, please? This is how spirits work. They move from their dimension and come here, and they have access to what we have, and they finish, they go, and the things they do, we can see it.
In this video, he has some keychains, still looking around for birds, don't see any, but he hides this keychain and leaves a latitude and longitude location right on the screen for somebody to find this. Being that there's a connection between 2027 and 2021, if he leaves something behind, somebody's gonna find it. Hides it in a tree. I mean, this is fascinating. Either that or, I mean, this guy is a pro when it comes to editing and special effects. But what makes this crazy, I mean, you can still see nobody in the background. But let's go to the next clips here. People are actually sharing that they found his keychain with the coordinates that he gave them. Now, this person is also showing that the area that he was in is a populated area. You can see people walking their dogs, you can see people jogging, having picnics, and there it is. There's the keychain right there. He put a note there for them. This guy is in shock. Here's another one right here. Guy found it. I mean, did he go out early in the morning when nobody was around and film these shots right before he posted the video? I don't know.
I mean, like, even when there's a lockdown, I mean, some authorities have to move around to make sure they enforce the lockdown measures. But in this case, in his case, no human being inside, no animal inside, no birds inside. And the people say, how can this be? And he said, well, I'm going to leave it. I am from another dimension, but I'm going to leave this in your dimension, and you're going to come and pick it. And he left the keychains in different densely populated, very busy locations and areas of the city. And he gave the proper coordinates, the latitude, the longitude, and everything. And the people went to those locations using the coordinates that he gave, and they found those things that he put there. But when he was putting them there, because he was in a different dimension, because he was in 2027, no one saw him, even though there were many people there at that time. This is what spirits do. Javier is, to me, like a spirit.
This one right here, somebody tells him, why don't you go to the subway? Nobody there. Nobody at the subway. And I don't know if you've seen that shot of him walking in. It's still daytime. How is there nobody around? A lot of these videos, people are challenging him to go to certain places. On this one, somebody challenged him, why don't you go back to the hospital? See if you could find some information about yourself, maybe some paperwork. So he goes to the hospital. I mean, this is his vision of when he woke up in the hospital and he didn't know where he was. I mean, that had been so confusing. Nobody around, and you can clearly see there's nobody around. And it says here that he found some paperwork on him, and he shows it. I guess he found that necklace too, but it says his name there. Somewhere it does say the date too. Yeah, 2021.
He went there in daytime, full-blown daytime, and there is not a single sign of life anywhere in that hospital. And he goes in there and finds his document, finds his papers. And as at the time he's finding all this in the hospital, in the real time of 2021, people are everywhere in the hospital. So he just comes in, like I said earlier, like a spirit, and then he gains access to everything. Nobody sees him. He doesn't see anybody.
Okay, this one by far has to be probably my favorite, for good reason. It's scary. He goes to the zoo. I don't know. I mean, did they take the animals out of the zoo? And still, like, how was he able to have access to a zoo? You can see they still have fountains running. I still don't see birds in the sky. This looks like an area where there would probably be maybe some chimpanzees, some large cats, maybe an elephant or two. There's no animals at the zoo. They all disappeared. That was probably where the gorillas were. Bigfoot. But yeah, there's no animals. Where'd the animals go? Is this an abandoned zoo? It looks pretty kept up. The lawn is freshly mowed. The landscape looks nice. I mean, as you can see in the earlier shots, the fountains were on in the water. Where are the animals? This one's pretty cool. So he asks Alexa,
¿Qué fecha es hoy?
Es domingo, 21 de marzo de 2027.
March 21st on a Sunday, 2027. Alexa said it.
Alexa is not a human being, it's a robot. It adjusts to time. The people who are in the 2021 space already have the Alexa sitting there. It's not like he came with the Alexa from 2027. This is an Alexa that operates in the 2021 space, but in his 2027 time, Alexa recognized that this was 2027. Everything in this dimension corresponds with 2027. Even Alexa. But if you come to the space in 2021, that same Alexa will give you the date and tell you that it's 2021. But for him, in his time, in that dimension in 2027, Alexa, a robot, said it. And then what about the animals? A zoo that everybody knows. Now, even if you got all the human beings to go away, how could you have taken away all the animals? How could you have, how could that have happened? Is it that he paid them to do special effects? Like, if you are a filmmaker, you know how much it costs to do CGI? This guy has got to be a millionaire in dollars to be able to do that much CGI.
Okay, this was one that definitely made me scratch my head. I thought that this was a good idea, whoever wanted him to do this. They said to go to a police station. This is what I find weird. He has a key to get inside the police station. Maybe he found the key outside. I don't know. One of the police cars is running too. I don't know if he goes inside the police station or he tries to go in. But as you can see, there's nobody in there. I mean, cops usually freak out if you're trying to break into the police station. And yeah, this police car is running and he gets in. Maybe it was running for days. I don't know.
Like I said, we are all learning this guy together. I don't know how long it's going to take, but this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, the only way I can explain it, like a typical African, is this is a demonic thing. Yeah. How we say things, or maybe just call it spiritual, not just demonic, because it just says spiritual stuff. If you go to his TikTok handle, which is on the screen right now, you can check more videos. He still keeps posting all these videos of his experience. Every time he's able to record them. So, but what bothers me the most is, what is it about 2027 that, what if this guy is real? What if this is true? What if all of this experience that nobody has been able to debunk, what if they are true? Because if I'm going to weigh my belief and disbelief in percentage, I would say my belief is like 90% and my disbelief is probably about 10%, and that's huge. 90 is a huge number, and that's what it's happening. There are people who have now moved from maybe 30% of belief to maybe even 100, but I still want to leave that 10 there to kind of ask myself a lot of questions about this guy, while we are all learning him together. But let's say really that everything is true and this guy is real. Let's face the fact. If it's true, does that mean that in 2027 there's not going to be any human being on earth? No animals, nothing, no bird? Is it going to come to the point where everybody is eliminated from the world? I have never come across any such study. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I don't know why his 2027 is devoid of any living thing but himself. I don't know. If you ask me, I don't know what to tell you. But the truth of the matter is that this is creepy. This is intense. It is scary as anything. And we're going to continue. You know, you go into research as much as I do, and let's be sharing under this particular video. A lot of things are going to be shared on there. So, I mean, a lot of people are going to have to learn, not just from me, but from you as well. Let's learn this guy. Let's find out what is happening, and let's educate the